Hi everyone and welcome to the latest episode of 10 Minutes With. Now, this time I talk to a member of the team from Hounslow Clothing Bank, Denise Toy. Here we find out about the work that goes into running this much needed organisation. This is 10 Minutes with Hounslow Clothing Bank. Hi guys, this is James. Welcome to 10 Minutes With, and I am currently here with one of the best people I know, Denise. She works with me on a Tuesday at St Luke's Clothing Bank in Hounslow.
Yep.
And she very kindly agreed. We managed to finally find the time. We've been planning this for a very long time, which is why it's a little bit late, as you know. But, we finally managed to find the time to talk about it. So thank you, Denise. And I'll start straight away.
Okay, yeah. 10 minutes will be a bit of a challenge.
Well, it never works out like that. We always say 10 minutes, but it always ends up being 20 or something. So I wanted to start by asking you, what made you want to open a clothing bank? Now, I know you didn't open it alone, but what was the idea behind it?
Okay, well, that's a good question. I never had any intention of opening a clothing bank. So basically, when lockdown happened, I started volunteering at the food bank at Hope Church in Hounslow West on a Wednesday morning, and helping out there. And they were trying to kind of do an awful lot. They've been doing food for a long time, obviously for Food Bank, but they also then started doing baby equipment. They started doing clothing, and were trying to kind of help everybody's needs that they had. But very soon, because they lost some of their volunteers during COVID, who were shielding, they became overwhelmed with donations of clothes, and also just being able to cope with giving out food and finding kind of items of clothing that people needed on a Wednesday morning. And it very quickly became a little bit too much. And they reverted back to what they were obviously the best at, which was doing the food bank. But the vicar there, Claire, she had this vision that maybe some of the other local churches would take on some of the responsibilities. So I think there was clothing, and as I say, the baby stuff. They were doing a lot of work with asylum seekers and refugees. And her vision was for other local churches to take on one element of it, that they would do the food bank. But other churches would do the clothing, the baby stuff,
So there's like a network.
Yeah, that we'd all kind of work together. Yeah. But because obviously they didn't have the resources to do it all, but maybe other churches could. And our vicar Ellis, who was also helping from time to time down there, he said, maybe we could do the clothing at St Luke's, which is our little sister church from St Mary's in the centre of Hounslow East. And so that kind of sowed that seed that he had said to Claire, maybe we can do the clothing bank at St Luke's because we've got a room where we could do it. And he mentioned this to me, and I was saying, crumbs, okay. The church had obviously been closed for months because of the lockdown. Yeah. Everything was covered in dirt and cobwebs in this back room. It was just horrendous. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we cleaned it all out. It started actually with James, I can remember myself, taking the curtains, these horrible curtains down.
Those really chintzy curtains. That was a big deal, wasn't it?
We felt like naughty school children taking down these curtains. Yeah. But we basically gutted the room. We took out all the grot. We cleaned it all up. We painted it, and we got this room ready. And then the next thing was kind of getting volunteers really together, getting donations in, and somehow God provided. And we, about 3 or 4 months after we said that we would start, we managed to open up. Yeah, so we've been going for about 18 months now? Yeah. 18 months.
Feels a lot longer sometimes.
And so that's how it all began, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously we know each other, right?
Yeah.
But pretend that you don't know me,
Right.
and you're trying to explain to me what a clothing bank is.
Right.
Someone
okay.
comes to you and says, "What do you do here? What is a clothing bank?"
Okay. Well, we basically we get donations of both new and used clothing from people who have given it. And our vision is really to help those who are in need, to provide, mostly kind of it started off with warm kind of clothing really, so that nobody had to kind of go without a coat or a pair of shoes. So that was our kind of vision, that we would be able to kind of provide clothing for people who just didn't have the money to go out and buy a coat or a pair of shoes. So that's how it works. We have donations, we sort them all out. We people kind of are able to come. We started off actually with just referrals from the food bank, and then that's kind of changed. We have referrals from Citizens Advice. We have referrals from, I think it's the Food Box in Brentford. But most of the people who come now are asylum seekers who are staying in local hotels. Word soon got out, and really most, I should say, probably about, what would you say, James, about 95% of our people who
I
come
would actually. We don't get a lot of people
seekers.
for it, yeah.
We do get a few still referred from Citizens Advice.
And we do get some people who walk in.
Yeah,
they just come,
and just
they
see the sign outside. But but the people who come are obviously in need of clothing, and we try and help them, with providing what they need really in their size. We didn't used to have an online referral system, but we've kind of gone to that because we got completely overwhelmed. I think before last Christmas we had, I think one day about 50 people queuing at the door. And the maximum people we can really help is about 20 in any one session, because we're only open for a couple of hours on a Tuesday afternoon. So we've now got an online referral form that people that we post people to, so people can actually fill in their details online, giving their name, where they're staying, who's referred them, and what they need. And so obviously that's what we try and use
Steer
that process.
towards,
Steer people so that they register, and we give priority to the people who have registered on a Tuesday. But if we have the capacity, we will also try and help drop-ins and other people as well who haven't registered. So that's...
So they come, you take their details, and then what happens?
So they come, we give them a number, so we've got kind of like a number system where make sure that those first in get served first. So we give them a number initially, and then wonderful James, is on our registration desk. He will one at a time take their details, and then we fill in a little slip, and we have kind of volunteers who are what we call the runners, and they're the ones who go and find the clothes. So what we do now, we actually take the people actually with us into the back room, and we try and find them. We allow them to have 2 items of clothing in any one visit. It did used to be 3, but it just took too long really to kind of find 3 items, so we decided to do 2 so that we could see more people. And then they can come back up to 3 times within a kind of 3-month period and have 2 different items of clothing each time. So within a 3-week period, they can have 6 items of clothing. So we take them in the back room, we show them what we have, the sizing. We try and, in fact today we're having a sorting day.
Which is what has given us the opportunity to do this.
So we kind of try and get them something that they like, which is in their size. So that's the kind of the way it works. I mean, we try and kind of make it as a welcoming environment as possible. We now do kind of sandwiches and food and fruits and drinks and cups of tea and coffee. We have also language lessons, which is actually, it's another church, Hounslow Town Church actually do language lessons here. So a lot of them keep coming back and joining with the language lessons as well. So what kind of started off as a very small kind of enterprise has turned into a little kind of hub of activity in the community, which has been really lovely.
I was asking before this interview started if you had any connections to other charities. You haven't necessarily got any connections to other charities, but you do to other churches, like the English language course.
Yeah.
And the people that are here on a Saturday. Is there another church here on a Saturday?
I think St
Luke's.
Luke's. I think St Luke's is hired out to another church. Yeah. But yeah, I think I mean, that's what I love about it. It's people working together to kind of better the community. So we do partner with the Hounslow Town Church to do the language classes. We also have the gardening project, which goes on at the same time. So yeah, it's kind of like a real lovely to see a joined up approach and everyone working together to kind of help these people.
What is your job here at St Luke's?
Well,
can you describe it? I mean, whatever you do, you obviously do it phenomenally. But what do you do?
Well, my job actually for St Luke's is not really clothing bank. Strangely enough, I'm actually in charge of like special projects, shall we say, like for the refurb. We've got an eco grant from the council where we're having our windows replaced, and that is kind of what I'm heading up. But in the absence of somebody who nobody came forward to say, I'll come and run this clothing bank at St Luke's, which we've set up, we decided that myself, Ellis and Fee would jointly run the project. So I guess I'm kind of by default, I have become like team leader here for the clothing bank, and I'm here most weeks, again with Fee and sometimes with Ellis. So over a period of time, it's kind of evolved really that mostly Fee is in the garden, isn't she?
Yes.
And I'm mostly in the clothing bank. But
so
it
you
was
kind of
supposed
drifted.
to be.
It wasn't the main reason why you started here at St Luke's, but it's just what you've ended up doing.
Yes, in the lack of anybody else coming forward, it's kind of
that's,
defaulted.
That's God's work.
Exactly. Yeah.
God decided that you needed to be here,
yeah,
working with all these wonderful volunteers.
Well, exactly. Yeah. This is it. Yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that actually, because probably about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I really felt that God was calling me to come to St Luke's, because this isn't actually my home church. My home church is the sister church, which is St Mary's. And I really felt that God was calling me to St Luke's, and I did not like this idea at all, saying, no, God, you've got this wrong. But it's been amazing kind of how over those 7 years, how he has been very gentle with me really, and gradually got me kind of involved down here. Firstly with helping with Heidi running a Lent course here, and I got to know some lovely people who come here. So it's kind of been really strange how slowly over a period of time that God has led me to this little church.
Isn't that how God works though? You don't realise what he's doing.
Exactly, until you look back.
Until you look back. And
you think,
actually, A led to B, lead to C, lead to
exactly.
And that's where I've ended up. So God always has a plan.
Exactly, and we've been talking about that.
Yes, we were talking about it earlier.
And it's funny because not just that, but also jobs that I've done in the past, people I've met in the past, things that I've done in the past, how it's almost like kind of, well, that's interesting because I did that 20 years ago, that is enabling me to do this, whatever it is, now. It's about how God has his guiding hand upon your, upon your life. And it's not like a kind of, him bullying you into doing things. It all kind of happens very organically, which I think is a lovely, a lovely way.
That's a great phrase, isn't it? Jesus is organic.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with the gardening project,
Well, yeah.
That has
I
developed.
didn't think that, I knew we were starting something, but it just seemed to have, forgive the pun, but grown.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's prospered.
So that's kind of, and it's just lovely to see, on a Tuesday afternoon, there's, a lovely little hub. We've got people in the garden, people coming in and dropping off donations. We've got people coming for clothes. We've got people just dropping in for a cup of tea. We've got people coming for language classes. People just see the gate open and come in and say, what's going on here? Because, of course, for years there's not been very much happening. And it's in a wonderful little kind of oasis in the middle of Hounslow town centre. We're right next to Hounslow East Tube Station.
We are, yeah. I mean, I've said this in a previous interview, I think the first episode of this series, when I spoke to Fee Budden. I discovered St Luke's purely because my sister lives across the road, and I was drawn by the garden, the flowers, and just how beautiful it was. I never intended to come in, but then after working with the food bank in Ivy Bridge, this was where Fee was posted, so I kind of followed her, and it just seemed, and it was just the right place at the right time, but I was drawn by the garden. Yeah.
Well, as I say, a lot of people used to say that they thought that the church was derelict because the garden was so overgrown. And again, that was a little lockdown project that Fee started. Well, you probably heard her interview, but just a couple of us used to come along once a week, do a couple of hours gardening, clearing weeds and digging up and trying to kind of keep things under control. And over, I think, 2 years, we've been kind of maybe a little bit more. And we've got this beautiful garden now. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's a real joy just to come in and see that garden blooming out there. But that's a whole other
project. Yeah. So if someone wanted to donate clothes, how would they go about that? Can they just turn up, or do you prefer to how easy is it for someone to donate clothes? And if they can't donate clothes, how about money?
Right.
Do you allow monetary donation?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
Because obviously if we have money, we can buy the things. We do have to buy some things new, like underwear. And check on our website, stmariesosterley.org.uk. We have an Instagram account, which is Clothing Bank St Luke's, I think it is.
Yeah.
But we'll confirm that.
Again,
we'll
put it on
that.
screen. Yeah.
And we kind of tend to put on there what we are actually looking for, because we have got an awful lot of clothes. The main things we really need at the moment, and we always need, is trainers, in particular men's trainers, and probably coats. In particular, again, men's coats are the two things that we always need. Also things like hoodies, tracksuit bottoms, leggings, things like that we're always needing.
Underwear.
New underwear.
Underwear.
Now I think on the St Mary's website is also the link for donations as well. I need to recheck and make sure that's still there. I know it was. But I would ask for clothing donations, that you do check what we need rather than just, because there's a lot of things we have too many of, in particular in ladies' clothes.
Hence why we have to do what we're doing today, which is
sorting. Yeah. And so, if the items you've got aren't on our list, then I do suggest that you take them to your local charity shop or the Salvation Army. But for here, Tuesday afternoons is the best time that if you can drop it off here. We are allowed to park in the entrance of the little park to the side of the church for drop-off purposes only. Tuesday afternoon between 1 and 2:30 is the best time to get us here, or on a Sunday morning when the church is open. Alternatively, if that's not convenient, you can leave them at the back of St Mary's Church in Osterley, clearly labelled for Clothing Bank, so that people know what that's for. And we do kind of regularly bring stuff up from St Mary's down to St Luke's and sort. But do keep an eye out as to the things that we really need. The other thing that we really need at the moment is some carrier bags, strong carrier bags. So we're talking about I think they're now 30p each, aren't they, in the supermarket? But the bags for life type, for putting clothing in.
So yeah, we were talking about the fact that you have such a brilliant group of volunteers. But if someone wanted to come and help, if someone wanted to volunteer here, how would they go about it? Do they have to contact you via email, or can they just come here and have a conversation with you?
Yeah, I would say the best thing is just to come on a Tuesday afternoon after 12:30, between 12:30 and 2:30, and have a chat with either myself or Fee. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to kind of commit to kind of come in every week. Obviously, it's really helpful, if we do have people who come regularly, because it makes life so much easier. But if you've got the afternoon free and you just want to come along and, see what's going on here, help out a little bit. There's loads of different jobs that can be done. We have ladies in the kitchen making sandwiches, making drinks, giving out drinks. We've got the reception desk, which James is on, getting people's details. We've also got like the clothes runners. We have people sorting clothes and labelling clothes and shoes. So there's lots of jobs to be done. So you would always be very welcome to come down. And we do kind of do a little induction, which just basically goes through, what we do, how we do it, all the health and safety kind of stuff. But yeah, just come along, I think would probably be my...
And it really is a lovely place to work. It really is a lovely place to volunteer. Such a loving and accepting atmosphere, and so yeah, I recommend it.
And that's the other lovely thing, actually, that people who've come for clothing, quite a lot of them come and volunteer.
Thank you so much for taking the time to sit and chat to me. I know we've been trying to do this for such a long time, and honestly, I will put every little bit of information available on screen where you can donate, where you can find details of how to volunteer, etc., all on screen. So do look out for that. This is the last in the series for now. But we'll be back hopefully in the autumn with some new stuff where we'll be revisiting some of the people that we've previously talked to. So I look forward to do, and I might come back and see you, Denise. What do you think? Watch this space. Anyway, take care, guys. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again, Denise. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you have it, the last in the series of 10 Minutes With. We hope you enjoyed our delve into some truly amazing local charities, people and organisations. We are already planning a series 2 that will hopefully be ready to roll in the autumn. In the meantime, keep a lookout for our brand new spin-off mini-series 10 Minutes on Mental Health, coming soon. Take care, and we'll see you again. Thanks for listening.